Hello everyone, this is Orlando from A Collector's Dream, and today I'm going to talk about the Hall of Fame voting, but I'm going to talk about a player that it took him 50 years to get into the Hall of Fame. And before I do that, though, I want to talk about there's so many auctions going on right now. It just seems like a lot of people are selling their collections, and that's a good thing for the collector that's looking to find some good deals. So there's the big Heritage. I've shown the Heritage auction that's going on. There's the REA auction that's going on. The REA is an incredible auction that's going on. And I just got the catalog here for the Love of the Game auction. It's another good auction. And what's cool was the cover. You know, it's the 1888 Goodwin Champions. This is the album, the rare album, and this is the first page of the album. So I'll share that in a minute. But a lot of cool stuff, and you know, not that I'm plugging this one. I've shown the other auctions too, but this has the cool Herpensheimer's cards that were found in the Band-Aid box. So if you guys ever seen that. And then it's got the rarest, one of the rarest Cuban baseball cards, the 1910 Punch Cigarros, and this is the Pop Lloyd. That card is extremely rare. So stuff like that you never find. It's one of the rarest Cuban issues. So that's a lot of stuff that's in this thing. You know, just a ton of stuff. And one of the main things is that Band-Aid, the Band-Aid box. That was a big find, and it's in the SCD Sports Card Daily if you want to read the article on that. But really interesting stuff that they've found. So I just wanted to share that. And I wanted to share that because I've got this album. So I'm going to go ahead and show. I've shown the album before. This is what the album looks like. And the way you got this album was there were coupons in the, it's a redemption basically. There were coupons in the Goodwin, we call it, not Goodwin, the Gypsy Queen, and Old Judge cigarettes. So inside this, let me get the catalog. Inside the Gypsy Queen and the Old Judge cigarettes, back in from 1886 to 1888, they had little coupons. And the coupons, you could redeem them for the cabinet cards, which were the big cabinet cards that you see out there from the 1888 of players, or you could redeem them for different types of albums. And one of the albums, which is really one of that you needed a ton of coupons for this, was this Champions album, the 1888 Goodwin Champions. And it's just shows all the champions. Just an incredible artwork that was done with chromolithography. And then it has all the champions, so it has all the belts from all different things. And then it's very delicate, so I don't want to, that's the page. That's the page that they showed in the auction. There it is. There it is, right there. So I wanted to share that, and that page has the Hall of Famers, the Baseball Hall of Famers from Cap Anson, Dan Brothers. Incredible artwork. And I've shown the book before. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but, well, maybe I will. I'll go quickly through it. I don't want to touch it too much. My fingerprints even is pretty delicate. This is over from the 1800s, and you can see it's just almost brand new, almost like gloss, like it's just been painted. Incredible book. It's just a piece of artwork. Look at that. And you see how they played back in the day. It's gotta be very delicate. This is all hand done. These portraits were all hand done. You could see that the cards are like overlaid on that. Incredibly how it's done. That artwork, I mean, from the 1800s. This was a, you know, you had to, it was a redemption. You had to mail in so many coupons, and then you had to send some money. I don't know what it was. I don't remember right now, but there's the first football card ever. Beecher. It's one of the, he was a wrestler also, Duncan Ross. Anyway, it was just very, this is the boxing page with John L. Sullivan. I don't want to touch this too much. Should have put my gloves on. There it is with John L. Sullivan. And there's Jack Dempsey in the top there. But just incredible how they did that artwork. All the equipment they used. So anyway, that's the book. I've shown it in other things. There's the jockeys. I've shown this in other videos. So if you want to go back and take a good look at it all. This is the wrestlers. And these are really cool because this is some of the top wrestlers and Buffalo Bill here. Look at that, Buffalo Bill, and that's Joe Acton. That guy was an incredible wrestler, and one of the most famous wrestlers of all time was Muldoon. Muldoon, check out Muldoon. I'll do a story on him. I have his cards. Then you got the chess pages, which I've shown some of these. I just showed the Steinitz, but just so cool that it has, you know, the chess things in there, and it's just, the artwork in this book is just incredible, guys. Just look at that. Look at the bicycle racers. So anyway, that's it. And then the back has the other players, and it's like you see this one has some chips on it and stuff because it's very easily chipped. So Tim Keefe has like a chip on there, and so does the Dunlop. But this book is just very easily, you know, the paint, the artwork was just like done on top of the other paint, on top of another paint. It's almost like a two-dimensional, three-dimensional type thing. You gotta see it in person, really. The video doesn't do it justice. But there's the King Kelly in the back, and the Dunlop, and the Glasscock. So you got the baseball players with the American flag in the back. In the front, you got the scenery with the field. So I wanted to share that. I've got to put that away. And I've got to make sure my hands are not sweaty. So I always get nervous handling this book. It's super, super delicate. It's from the 1800s. So this is kind of, to me, one of my little museum pieces that I have in my collection. And there's probably less than maybe 10, 15 of these that still exist. But I wanted to share that with you guys. So going back to what I talked about is the Hall of Fame voting. And that's why I want to talk about Rube Marquard. You know, Rube Marquard, this is his rookie card. And you see this card, it's not in the best shape. It's a 1.5. It's kind of beat up. But to me, what I love about cards like this is that this card has a history, and probably has a good history. Because this card, I'm just taking the thing up, back in the day, was probably a card that, get my name back in here. Okay, here we go. This is probably a card that was heavily prospected back in the day. Why? Because as he came in as an 18-year-old Rube Marquard. Let me go ahead and just focus on him. I'm going to read a little bit about Rube, because the cool stuff about him is that he was one of these guys that was really coveted as one of the best players around. He was one of the top prospects. And it said, one of the things that he said is, any hitter can hit a fast one, but not many can hit slow ones. Rube Marquard. It didn't much matter what Rube Marquard threw in his 18-year career, as batters had trouble hitting it. Marquard's first baseball career would never have happened if his father would have gotten in the way. His father was an engineer for the city of Cleveland and told his son that if he played professional baseball, he wouldn't be allowed to return home. But Marquard persisted, and his major league career began in 1908. So this is a 1909 to 1911. So he started his career in 1908. This is a Piedmont back. You see this card is pretty beat up. Because I would imagine back in the day, this card probably was a very prospected, desirable card that the young kids would have wanted. Why? Because in 1909, the Giants purchased his contract from Indianapolis for a record price of $11,000. He became known as the $11,000 beauty and made his debut at the age of 21. So he was paid as a prospect a lofty amount of money. The biggest amount back in those days. $11,000 back in 1908, 1909 was awesome. Marquard initially did not live up to the lofty expectations that were placed on him, winning just 9 games in his first 2 seasons. So from 1909, when he started, to 1911, when this card came out, he was highly prospected. He was the beauty, as they called him, the beauty. He was given a ton of money, and the first 2 years, he flopped. So I would imagine when he got his money, a lot of the kids probably started collecting his cards and getting his cards. This is a big, big guy. And then 2 years later, his card was kind of, who wants him? 9 games in 2 years he won. But in 1911, his potential was realized. He won 24 games, and he led the league with 237 strikeouts. That season started a 3-year run of success for both Marquard and the Giants. He led the Giants. He was their pitcher. He won at least 20 games and helped the team to the World Series each year. And that's a 3-year run. Marquard began the 1912 season with 19 straight decisions, a modern era record. He finished the year with 26 victories and added 2 more in the World Series, although that the Giants did lose to Boston. With the success came increased fame for Marquard. So he married a vaudeville star, and he became famous and started performing and things like that. He won 23 games in 1913, and in 1915 he threw a no-hitter in his first outing of the season. Later in 1915, his contract was sold to Brooklyn, where he pitched for the next 6 years. He posted a career best 1.58 ERA in 1916 and appeared in 2 more World Series. So Rube Marquard, it's a little bit about him. His record, he ended up with over 200 wins, a lifetime 3.08 ERA, and over 1,500 strikeouts. That was back in the 1900s. Over 1,500 strikeouts, 200 wins, 3.08 ERA lifetime average. And he was not in the Hall of Fame. And he was not inducted in the Hall of Fame. Even all that, he was left out. And he was left out for a long time. Even though Rube Marquard was born in the 1800s, he finally got inducted in the Hall of Fame in 1971. 1971, about 50 years pretty much after he retired. After being a top prospect, this card was probably handled as somebody wanted him early. Then he was kind of thrown in the common box for a couple of years with nobody. He was only winning 9 games in 2 years. And then he was a steady 20-game winner after that, led the Giants over to... So then again, he was a desired player. I'm sure people pulled him out of the box, the common box, thinking he's going to be a Hall of Famer. And then really didn't become a Hall of Famer until 1971. Finally, he got in. So, well-deserving. And if you know the history of Rube Marquard, I showed you a little bit. There's many, many stories on him. And, one of the things is, he didn't have a high WAR and all that. And that's probably right. The guy only had a WAR of 32, which is very low. But what he did in his 18 years, I mean, you can't say, 1,593 strikeouts. He had 1 year 237 strikeouts back in those days. I mean, he had 26 win season, 24 games win season, 23 win season. So he had a lot of great stats, but it took him forever to get in the Hall of Fame. And so that's pretty much it about Rube Marquard, and I did show you that. A couple other things I pulled out just to share. And one guy that I think probably could be in the Hall of Fame, and maybe should be in the Hall of Fame, but it's probably going to take him a long time also, I think. And I'm going to put Elston Howard, similar to a Rube Marquard. He was highly touted. I mean, people thought he was going to be a great catcher. He was helped out by Yogi Berra, who taught him, and he became a great catcher. He became a catcher with some pretty good numbers there for the Yankees. And I just think he's an undervalued guy. There's a lot of guys like that, Richie Allen, things like that. And who knows when they'll be going in the Hall of Fame. But Elston's got an outside chance. But I pulled this card because I just love the stand-up cards. I wanted to show these. I got a couple of stand-up cards, and that's, one of the sets that when I was younger, I don't really remember seeing much of this set because it was kind of they didn't sell it. So this was, I don't know whether it's a regional thing or what, but I know that I never remember seeing these in my area. I don't know if it was sold in certain areas, maybe not in South Florida. But these are really cool. One day I'd like to see, maybe I pick up some of these that are already in bad shape so I can punch out and bend the back and stand them up. I can just imagine a kid playing with these things. These are all blank back. And kind of bending them over and standing them up and putting like a team out there. That's the kind of stuff I used to do, But that would be cool. So I just wanted to share a little bit, about players that possibly could be in the Hall of Fame and players that are in the Hall of Fame. These two guys, of course, K-Line and Rube Marquard. So just a little bit of stuff I wanted to talk about. So, guys, there's no hobby burnout. I'll end with that. I'm enjoying my cards, and I'm enjoying sharing some of my cards in my collection with you guys. So I hope everybody has a great, awesome day. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. I'm gonna start making a pumpkin pie, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. So I'll catch you on the next one, guys. Thanks for watching. This is Orlando from A Collector's Dream. Have an awesome, awesome day, and happy Thanksgiving to all. Catch you on the next one.